Hi, my name is Dina Cortez. I'm Daniela's mom. I was born in El Salvador and I moved here to the United States in year 2000.
Okay, so getting straight to the questions. What was your first voting experience like?
My first voting experience was in El Salvador. I was about 19, 20 years old. I really don't remember. It was kind of emotional and exciting at the same time. After coming from a civil war, we wanted a change, so that was my main motivation to vote.
What were the differences now having voted here that you noticed between Salvador and the United States?
There wasn't much difference. The only difference that I saw is the time framing. When you go vote, you have to wait for a long time over there, maybe 3-4 hours before your turn. And here it was pretty much go and get out. I think that has to do a lot with what you're living in the time. Because like when I went the first time that I went and voted, it was because we really needed change. We wanted to get out of the war. We wanted a good president to do good things. And I guess here it has to do the same thing. We needed a change. And we hoping that everybody goes and vote.
Okay. What can you tell me about your first voting experience?
I was 18 and it was my first time voting, and it was during the Obama election. So my first time voting was exciting, but also had turmoil because it was my first time voting, and most of the adults in my life were hardcore Republican. So right out the bat, my first opportunity to vote was already conflicted, and it was the first time I had to and was privileged enough to go against everybody else and follow what I truly believed in, and that set precedent for a lot of other things. So my first time voting was liberating and very empowering. I think it's very important. I think that a lot of current laws and regulations were created during a time that only men and only white men were able to have a say in what was going on. And a lot of these laws were made during a time where they didn't have to consider people of race or women or any kind of progressive stance. So I think now that our predecessors have fought for us to have these rights, and that includes women's suffrage, people who are fighting for minorities to be able to vote. Now that we have the ability to vote, we can make change with our representatives that we vote into office to make the change that represents us that was never made in the first place. So it's a lot of correction, and it's a lot of new considerations so that way the generations after us can be put in better situations than what we have been put in today.
What do you think about convicts or criminals voting? Should they have their voting rights back?
Absolutely. I think the right to vote is constitutionally protected, and I think because it's constitutionally protected, it's a human right.
Hello, sir. What can you tell us about your first voting experience?
Well, the worst part was located in a parking space and standing in a long line of people. The volunteers were very helpful, and selecting the candidate was self-explanatory on the computer.
How do you prepare for going to the polls and planning your vote?
Select your candidates ahead of time and know where and when and you can go to vote.
What do you recommend people should do before going to vote?
You need to ensure that you have a valid picture ID. It can be your driver's license or your US passport, your voting registration card. Leave early in the morning and plan to stay there for a while. Take some water with you and do not wait till the last day.
Why does voting matters?
Our future, the future of this country, our next generations depend on how the government's run.
Hi, my name is Eric Zumbel. I come from Verona, Italy.
What can you tell me about your first experience voting?
My first time voting was actually a special day because it was exactly 1 week after my birthday. At like 10 in the morning, I went to my hometown town hall. That's where you get your ballot papers and to go vote. And then we headed towards our elementary school. We get there and there's a long line. We stood in line for like an hour, and when it came to my turn, I just got into this little room. After I voted, I got out of the room and I put my paper in the box, and I was off the hook.
How would you describe the political culture when it comes to voting in Italy? Do a lot of people get involved?
So in Italy, from where I come from, especially in Verona, a lot of people are involved. I know a lot of my friends and a lot of their family members, they vote, and they vote regularly. Right before the election day, right before the voting day, there are a lot of advertisements, especially on newspapers and on commercials on the TV. You know, it's always dramatized. This guy said this other guy said that.
Do you feel that voting is a big responsibility for you?
Yes, I think voting is really important. It's my power to sort of, influence and impact what's gonna happen in the future.
It seems to be a common trend that voting can be impactful for everyone, no matter where they are from. The process may be different from place to place, but we all share the responsibility of being engaged citizens in our evolving world. In 2016, 58.1% of eligible voters actually went out to vote, and the other 41.9% didn't, for three main reasons. The first reason is that two major parties may not seem like enough. Reason 2, education. The lower the completed education, the less likely they are to vote. And the last reason, apathy. People have the mindset of, my vote doesn't matter, I don't care. Hearing from real diverse people, we can see just how voting affects people's lives and bridges communities together. It is an essential piece that plays a part in not only our own, but everyone's day-to-day lives. If everyone comes together and sees the importance of being an involved citizen, we can change the social and pressing political world today. So go get out and vote. We are all depending on it.